The Rock made his first appearance ever on NXT. And this is coming straight after Raw Netflix, the very first Raw Netflix. So by chance, if you're coming from the video I made about that, welcome back. Thanks for watching it. And if you haven't, definitely consider checking that one out after you're done hearing me talk about, this whole situation. But I guess, in a way, I will, of course, be referencing a lot of things that happened prior to this, leading into this, to kind of wrap it all up and give you guys my impression on what the hell is actually happening with Mr. Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, aka the Final Boss, aka the final boss, as he put it, with that backstage segment that he had with his daughter Ava. And I really don't know where to even start with this. So I guess we'll just do the usual, surmising of how we even got here. So we got here based off of what was being planted last year. After Cody got pinned by him, The Rock, in the night one tag match between the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Rock versus Cody and Seth, that right then and there was just oh man, that's OD. He pinned he wasn't the champion yet, but he was about to be champion on the next night, right? So he basically pinned the WWE champion, okay? Now, they then went to that Monday's Raw, and they essentially planted another seed, really letting us know, they're gonna basically do a Rock versus Cody match in the future. Whether it's at next year's WrestleMania or not, this is a match that we can definitely expect to see. Then you fast forward to Bad Blood, and there's another tag match. Funny enough, Roman and Cody this time on the same side. And after this, Rock comes out at the end of the match, signals to both of them, counts down from 3 to 1 or whatever, 1, 2, 3, and then does the cutthroat gesture at presumably both of them, making it seem like he's gonna come after both, either or, whatever. Okay, now if we go back even further, not really that much further, but originally we were supposed to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns. And as the big Roman Reigns bloodline fan that I am, I was definitely ready for that, and I did not care if Cody was about to get screwed out of his Royal Rumble win, because I figured it would have just caused more heat. It would have brought more heat towards Roman and The Rock, and it would have really had a lot of people behind Cody even more so, because that's 2 years back to back that he was, in some way, shape, or form gypped out of his opportunity at being champion. I had this whole idea where I'm like, bro, Cody could win the Rumble again. He could be the first guy to win it 3 times or back to back to back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. It didn't happen. Cody got his title. All the crybabies were put to bed, put to rest, and we were chilling. And, Cody's a great champion. He's a great guy. I like Cody Rhodes, but I'm a bigger fan of Roman Reigns. Anyways, let's get back to the main point. So now we are here at Raw Netflix, and I made a point to basically defend The Rock's actions and how he was acting, and, because, we're in a new era, the Netflix era. It's a very big and exciting, it's a big deal, it's a very exciting time. I'm actually, side note, still waiting to see what the numbers, the metrics of how many people around the world live were watching Raw. Because I'm sure the number, if you're going to count anyone who watched it after it was live, or, I don't know how that's really measured, but I mean, I'm guessing it's if they say, well, yeah, it was Raw was number 1 on Netflix. I mean, I guess that metric in and of itself will just speak volumes, and, I guess it doesn't really matter, because I guess we could just assume millions and millions and millions of people watch it. I don't know, whatever. So I defended him. No, rightfully so. If you don't believe me, go and watch the video that I made, right? I'm gonna own it. I acknowledge it, right? Why wouldn't I? And I said that this segment, prior to the actual tribal chief, tribal combat match, was you could consider it almost non-canon in a way. Because again, The Rock was really excited, really happy. Naturally, he just wants to be a star, a figure that just shows up, says his catchphrases, curses, gets bleeped, says whatever he wants, does whatever he wants, just has a good time, and then just goes home in his humongous truck that has monster truck wheels on it. But because of everything that happened last year, it of course forced him to create this final boss character, which he still refers to him as such, which makes it all the more confusing, and it just doesn't add up overall. So here we are, Netflix, Raw. He does what he does. He acknowledges Cody, acknowledges Roman, essentially throwing out what they had planted, if you are to count this, right? Which a lot of fans are. A lot of fans are pretty upset about it, and rightfully so. Y'all are all entitled to that. That's fine. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, hot damn, I think I might have to join y'all, because then he shows up to NXT. Bro, what the hell was the point of him being at NXT? First off, he has a backstage segment with Ethan Page. It looked like he was about to candy ass his ass, or I don't know, something. But, you know, he rocked him. You know, they didn't like physically rock him, but, you know, he rocked him. He basically made him feel like lesser than The Rock, you know, in his I'm The Rock way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to even explain it, but like when you see it, you'll understand what I mean. And so he also, you know, put his daughter over and saying like, you know, when The Rock is around, obviously like I'm the final boss, but you know, when you're here in NXT, she's the final boss. And it's just like, okay, like, you know, we figured that would happen, but this is nothing in comparison to what then happens when he comes out. Now, I will criticize this, right? As much as I love The Rock, bro, his entrance is way too long. Like, do you remember how people used to complain how The Undertaker's entrance was long? Like, can we talk about The Rock, bro? Like, and on NXT? Like, this man is taking his sweet ass time. He's really soaking it all in. Like, he's doing his thing, right? Rightfully so. It's like, we already heard Triple H say in one of those press conferences, like, dude, like, when you've done what Dwayne has done, when The Rock has done, like, you know, he's earned his right to just come and go as he pleases and does and do whatever he wants. But, you know, like, are we sure? Like, because, you know, I mean, you know, shows still have restrictions and rules that they have to abide by, and like, you know, it's I don't know. It's just, to me, it's kind of like, it's not cringy. That's not what I'm trying to say. It just makes me squirm a little bit, because I'm just like, oh my God, like why are you like this? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sure you are stressing out so many people right now, production, backstage folks, like even people in the audience, they're probably just like, what is going on, right? So anyway, let me just get to the point here. So he comes out for about 20 minutes. I'm exaggerating, but you know, it basically felt like it was a 20-minute entrance. And then he puts himself on blast by basically breaking the 4th, 5th, 6th, every freaking wall there is to break, and puts himself out there by revealing that production at ringside is telling him he has 6 minutes. And he's like doing all of this shoot stuff and like pulling the curtain back in front of everyone on live television. Like, oh, like I gotta check that clock over there. It says I have 6 minutes. You know, if this was like a few years ago, I would say, man, The Rock is so great. Like, he's just got a charm, you know? But it's 2025 now, and just seeing how everything has been playing out and how he has been, you know, with his in and out appearances. And you know, funny enough, it's always, you know, there seems to be some weird pattern where it's like something doesn't go right in Hollywood, and then, oh, if you smell, and you hear him, and he's right back again, right in WWE, right back home. Like, I don't know, and it's weird, like, cause I'm very conflicted, because I'm a fan. Like, I love The Rock. Who doesn't love The Rock? It's like he's the Rock, but it's like I gotta call a spade here, like, or I gotta call a rock. I don't know. Let me stop. And he goes on to just cut this nothing ass promo for like the remaining 6 minutes, and he didn't pull this, oh, I'm the final boss, we're gonna go overtime shit. I'm glad he didn't, because you know, I mean, yes, you are the final boss. You are at the board. You have shares or stakes or whatever, but man, enough's enough at some point, right? Like, I don't know. Like, you please don't Hulk Hogan yourself, you know? You feel me? Like, please. I don't want it to ever get that bad, but I digress. So he does the same thing where he's like, you know, shouting out people and, you know, saying like, you know, you gotta pay attention to NXT because these stars that you're seeing here could end up main eventing WrestleMania one day. And then he says, or they'll just get fired. Like, oh, okay, right. Like, thanks. Like, good shit. Like, all right, bet. Cool. And then he like quickly just goes to it. The If You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking, and like, I have never seen a fade to black so fast in my entire life watching wrestling, especially after the Rock cuts a promo. Remember that one episode of Raw when he came back? Like, I think it was like one of the first times he had actually come back, and it was like 7 years or something. And he made them stay on for an extra like 20 minutes or something. And he was just, that was like prime Rock. Like, it was just such a good time, right? But hold on, don't think I forgot what he had said to really settle in what had happened on Raw Netflix. So here's the thing. I will say this in all fairness, if he didn't even acknowledge what had happened on Raw Netflix, if he just kind of kept it moving and he just decided that he was going to bring up Cody or Roman, but bring them up in a way that almost ignores what he literally did and said the previous night, but furthered the story, I would have been like, I told y'all. I see right there. This confirmed that it was a non-canon moment in the continuity of everything that we see on TV, but that did not happen. Because then he then goes to say like, well, last year y'all was telling me, oh, like, don't be mean to Cody, be nice to Cody. And now you're yelling at me this year saying like you're not supposed to be nice to Cody, this and that. So I'm not gonna lie, initially I was just like, oh my god, like, yeah, like, that's kind of funny though, like how that worked out. But then of course he says in, you know, classic Rock fashion, like, you guys just have to sit down and shut your mouths up and enjoy the ride that the Rock is about to take you on. Like, that was a very Rock Final Boss ass little thing there, which I guess I'm glad we got. But I mean, let's also continue calling a rock or a spade. Like, whenever he says that, is that just code for they really actually don't necessarily know what's about to happen or the ride that we're about to be on? I mean, you know, if we're gonna even go back and reference the post-conference from Raw Netflix at the Roman Reigns Paul Heyman segment of that post-show conference, Roman even said, like, I mean, we leave it up to you guys as far as, like, you know, internet doing its thing. We just kind of let it rock. And, you know, obviously, like, I'm not going to tell you, you know, that would almost defeat the purpose of this, like, whether or not it is going to be Rock Roman or Roman whoever, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I bring that up just because it's like, I took that as Roman almost confirming, but not really confirming that, yeah, like, it's gonna be us too. But why would I say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that would just defeat the whole purposes, but, you know, whatever. So yes, here we are now after this NXT, which, you know, it's crazy. I say this, I'm sorry, I do this a lot. I'm, you know, side tangent, because there's just a lot of, like, good points to bring up that, you know, relates to this. It's like, NXT as a show overall was really good. It's like they had a bunch of really good matches, and, you know, Obafemi, new NXT champion, like, that should have been how the show ended. I mean, look, even Julia, also brand new women's NXT champion. My girl Stephanie Vaquer, aka was she from Chile, right? She is the Chile Psylocke. She had the Psylocke fit on. As soon as I noticed, I was like, there's no way this is on accident. It's like, don't let me find out that my girl Stephanie Vaquer is an X-Men fan, because ooh, that's fire, right? But no, the show ended with this segment that really just didn't need to happen. It did not really do anything, and it didn't even set up anything that's worth talking about outside of just talking about it on a video like this. Guys, I don't know what is going on with this guy, but I guess what I want to and how I want to end this video is by, I guess, asking a question like, is Dwayne okay? Because like, I say this facetiously, but then I also like am genuinely asking this at the same time. Because when you are someone like The Rock, you're set for life. You know, like his family is set for life. He is like it's so obvious. Like he is a billionaire's billionaire. He's got hella bread in the bank. Okay. He's in so many different movies, whether they're flops or they're not. He has created such an illustrious career for himself in and out of the ring that I don't understand why he has to be how he is. And in some ways, it's like I don't know, like it's almost starting to feel like it's slowly doing harm than it is like really helping. I feel like at this point in time, this whole I'm gonna show up, literally do whatever it is that I want. I mean, this guy literally said on live television, like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna say. And I believed him because look at how he handled himself out in front of all those people, in front of the whole world on TV. Like it's almost like embarrassing in a way. And I like, does anyone agree with what I'm saying? Like, do you guys even at least understand what I'm trying to say? It's like there has to be a point in time where someone's got to sit him down and just humble his ass. And I feel like he might even be at the point where there is no humbling. But the weird thing is, the only folks that can actually ever humble him is us, the fans. Because he has this complex, it seems like, where he just can't really do rejection. And like, he's got to do something else. Like, you know, there's always a pivot. And you know, in a way, that's a good thing. You know, it's like, you know, let's not focus on the negatives. Let's just like kind of make something of it, which is a very, very good thing. But, you know, I bring all this up just because it's just like, if this keeps up, it's going to affect a lot of things that involve him, that are around him. And one way or another, it's like, you know, you make a bad movie or you make a movie that doesn't do well. Sure, you can fall back and come back to WWE and have a grand old time and call all these people candy asses and jabronis all you want. But like, what happens when we get sick of you? Where are you gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't even want to imagine that, because like I said, I love The Rock. I think he's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. That whole NXT thing really just kind of opened my eyes to a whole new like layer of what's even happening, because there is no denying, like there's no other way to put it. Like, this is not a character. Like, what we saw at the end of NXT was not an angle. That was a guy who was way over his head and very much full of himself and had no idea, was not prepared to what he was gonna do or say in front of all those thousands of people and millions around the world. And he just made an ass of himself. And as a result, I mean, you know, it's just a bad look. And personally, as a fan of both The Rock and for WWE and just wrestling in general, I just don't want things like that to continue to happen, is all I'm trying to say. So, yeah, I guess that's really it. Damn it, I went on for longer than I wanted to again, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm just trying to get all these thoughts out there, get the conversations going. Let me know what you guys thought. Do you agree with me? Do you understand some of the points that I'm making? And maybe there's some things that I didn't hit on that go along with it, or, you know, anything in general. I should also shout out that if you want to hear me talk about the recent AEW Dynamite episode and some things that are worth tuning in for, week to week for that program. Definitely check that video out as well. And if you missed out on the Raw Netflix review, my thoughts on the first episode of Raw Netflix, definitely go and check that out as well. And let me know if you are enjoying these wrestling discussion videos. When I do have more time and more opportunity to at least add more as far as the production value goes, then I definitely will. But for now, this is just a format that works for me. I mentioned this on my Raw video, but like I do have a full-time 10 to 12 hour job that obviously consumes a lot of my time. And by the time I get to recording these, sometimes it's like after midnight, after 1 a.m. and I gotta get up early in the morning anyway. So I try to make do with what I got. But you know, I am trying to get another job, so hopefully, wish me luck, I do get something else so that I can have more of a manageable work-life balance where it's not just work, no balance, no life type shit. So, but yeah, like I mentioned in the Raw video, man, let's all just enjoy wrestling together. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Make sure you guys do leave a like and a comment. And share these videos out if you can. That definitely help out this channel and these videos in particular. And if you're into anime and reactions in general, I have a bunch of different reactions. I'm reacting to Dragon Ball Daima every Friday right here on this channel as well. So I will see you guys whenever I see you guys. Take care and have a good one.